Now, there have been a lot of landslides in presidential history. You had George B. McClellan getting routed by Abraham Lincoln in 1864. Some of you older folks might remember Barry Goldwater, who got embarrassed by Lyndon B. Johnson in 1964. And then there was this poor bastard, Adlai Stevenson II, who got bodied by Dwight D. Eisenhower twice in a row. However, these all pale in comparison to the three elections I'm about to talk about. These three men were beaten so badly, it's no wonder that we don't talk about them. 1972. Incumbent President Richard Nixon is running for re-election against South Dakota Senator George McGovern. One of the main issues being debated at the time was foreign policy, specifically the Vietnam War, which had been going on for about 10 years now. At the end of the election, Nixon won a total of 520 electoral votes out of a possible 538, and he received over 60% of the popular vote. McGovern was only able to win D.C. and Massachusetts, which wasn't even his home state. Interestingly enough, despite absolutely clobbering his opponent, Nixon later wrote in his memoirs that the victory was incredibly unsatisfying. And see what happened after he was re-elected? Yeah. Jumping a bit ahead to 1984, where former Vice President Walter Mondale is running against incumbent Ronald Reagan. Issues during this time were Reagan's economic policy of Reaganomics, as well as rising tensions in the Cold War. In addition, Reagan was also 73 years old, the oldest president in U.S. history at the time, to which Reagan's response when confronted with this question was,
"I will not make age an issue of this campaign. I am not going to exploit, for political purposes, my opponent's youth and inexperience."
Anyway, Reagan received 525 electoral votes, the most of any candidate in a single election, and nearly 59% of the popular vote. Mondale, on the other hand, received a measly 13 electoral votes, winning only D.C. and his home state of Minnesota by less than 4,000 votes. After the election, one of the White House aides asked Reagan what he wanted for Christmas, which he replied, "Minnesota would have been nice." And now we go to the man himself. You know him, you love him, Franklin Delano Roosevelt. 1936, it's the Great Depression, and the country's not doing so hot. So this guy, Kansas Governor Alf Landon, says he has a plan. What is it, you ask? Just don't do anything and hope the problem goes away. Yeah, it's no wonder FDR won 4 times. Anyway, Landon got annihilated in this race. But before I reveal how many electoral votes he received, I want you all at home to take a guess as to how many it was. Go ahead, pause the video now and take a guess. Alright, you ready? Alf Landon received 8 electoral votes.
8.
He only won the states of Vermont and Massachusetts. Roosevelt received over 11 million more votes. Landon lost his home state by nearly 8%, and in South Carolina, Roosevelt received over 98% of the vote, the highest margin of victory in any state in U.S. history. And to add insult to injury, just in case Landon thought he even had a chance of winning, these 4 southern counties voted 100% for Roosevelt. Granted, they had less than 7,000 people vote, but the fact that Roosevelt completely shut out Landon in 4 counties is nothing to sneeze at. It's pretty clear that these 3 men had the floor wiped with them. After the debate where Reagan made that joke about his age, Mondale admitted that, yeah, he was about to get roundhouse kicked in the face. And boy was he right. To be honest, I want to see more landslide victories like these in elections nowadays. Our current politics are so boring and depressing, I want to see people kill each other, man. This is lame. But before I leave, let's have a moment of silence for these 3 men. May God have mercy on their souls, because clearly their opponents did not.